Jiu-Jitsu was like much tougher for me to pick up even more than striking, to be honest. And I know how Glory usually fight. They kind of have a good strategy usually going into all the fights. We've seen that before in the past fights and their performances. So I've never really seen a Sameera from Glory. At least I didn't have him in the preview. After you released that video, I realized that's LSP. Like I knew him as LSP, like even in Muay Thai. Right?
That's true.
So I was like, when I spoke to you, I had no, I didn't have a clear, like, because I think I went on Facebook and typed in name once. Nothing really showed up and I didn't really look after that. So I didn't really have a face in my head. But after your video came out, I was like, oh shit. That is LSP. Glory people, especially when they get on top, I've seen like they have like really good top control and stuff like that. So I'm expecting like it to be like standing ground, everything is gonna be competitive. So yeah, definitely not taking it lightly at all. Yeah. So I'm gonna expect like I guess like this is gonna be one of my most challenging fights.
What's up, everybody? Sameera Jayawardhana from Knockouts and Submissions here. I am joined by none other than Dasitha Abeywickrama, undefeated in MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt, a student of the Shed Colombo, and a silver medalist at the 2023 Muay Thai Nationals. And he will be taking part in the main event of the Ceylon season 9 of the Ceylon Fighting Championship, and he will be fighting Sameera Jayawardhana from Glory MMA Colombo. Dasitha, how are you doing?
And how's it going? All good?
All good.
Doing fine. Yeah.
Are you after practices? I feel like
you're literally just got home after practice. Last session, I think, for the until the fight. Might do a bit of light work tomorrow, but then pretty much done with like most of the training now. Yeah.
Okay. So how was fight camp leading up to this fight? Like,
it's been pretty interesting. Like learned a lot of for something different. Like learned a lot of new stuff this fight camp. Like previous fight camps, we were like kind of honing down on skills. So kind of learned few new, nothing major, like certain new techniques, wrestling and stuff like that. So it's been exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw on your Facebook that you're in a band. You're a guitarist, right? What's it that I've never seen an MMA fighter doing music?
No, I'm a bass guitarist actually. So yeah. I kind of like did music like way before I got into martial arts. So I've been playing music for like I think around 10 years. So I think I've been doing martial arts for around 6.5.
Yeah.
So like it was like it's always been part of my life, but obviously both things as like passion projects. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I kind of mentioned earlier that you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Like, tell me, walk me through how did you get to that process? I'm pretty sure that must have been years of hard work put into it.
Yeah. Actually, Jiu-Jitsu was like much tougher for me to pick up even more than striking, to be honest. Really? I kind of I was a bit claustrophobic when I initially started things. So it was like, and Jiu-Jitsu is like the worst sport for that because like you're literally like there's no space in between you and the opponent. So I had to really get over those feelings initially. But I think Coach T was really helpful in making sure that I got out of that the claustrophobic feeling of like things. So now it's like obviously been like I think like around 5 to 6 years of training. So that's all gone. But yeah, so initially it was much tougher for me even mentally to get into jiu-jitsu other than striking. Striking was always fun and something that I always enjoyed. I wasn't really interested in jiu-jitsu when I first started, to be honest. It's only after I found out how effective it was and like once actually someone put me in a side control and I was like just completely helpless. And at that time I've already been doing striking for 1.5 years. So I thought I was like, okay, I can somewhat handle myself, and then boom, like someone just puts me on side control and like you're literally paralyzed if you don't know how to get out of it. Like especially before jiu-jitsu, you had no idea. So that really was like the main thing that like got into my head. I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do that to someone as well. So yeah, that put me in line with jiu-jitsu.
So you initially started with striking, Muay Thai.
Yeah. Actually, I started with Jeet Kune Do. I did that for like a bit, and then pretty soon I started Muay Thai alongside. So Jeet Kune Do was the first like actual gym I went to because I was studying in Malaysia. So I think I just found a gym close by the Jeet Kune Do. And I kind of like had like, I mean, Jeet Kune Do is also kind of like the early stages of mixed martial arts back in the day. Like that's what Bruce Lee kind of did, like bring different styles together. So it kind of like, I guess it was always MMA from the start, I guess. But so it was Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, and then Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, so Jeet Kune Do was quite popular in the Sri Lankan MMA scene, like the combat martial
Of
arts
course.
scene, like 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
now it's not anymore. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
So last year you took part in the Muay Thai Nationals. I said that earlier as well. Like, how did the finals go? You were a silver medalist. What happened?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that was a real. It was a really challenging tournament, to be honest, because there was a lot of been a lot of waiting around as well. So which was like you fight once and then you have to wait for a while and then your like energy levels everything kind of goes down and then you find out you have to fight again, so you have to get back up. So it was a good experience in learning how to deal with all those emotions
Mm.
in the fight game. Usually like we have one fight and we're done, right? So here like you could always have your next fight like in an hour, in 2 hours, or at the end of the day, or
Mm.
it could be tomorrow. So that always being on alert and obviously fighting and then performing when the fight actually does happen.
Yeah.
That part was quite interesting. And the final, to be honest, like was a very tough opponent. Like he was from the Navy,
Yeah.
and I actually saw him fight like a few times before, like within that tournament. And I realized, like, okay, as when I saw him in my weight class, I was like, okay, I might meet this guy at some point in this tournament if I do keep winning. And likewise, I met him in the final. So,
Mm.
so he was. I think in hindsight, in the fight, I thought like I was like not doing that great, but in hindsight, after watching the video, I was like doing okay. He definitely still won the fight.
Yeah.
Like he outscored me and had a lot of forward pressure coming in. So it was a very enlightening experience actually to like deal with that as well. Like yeah, so it was fun.
Yeah. Bro, you're one of the few fighters in Sri Lanka who are undefeated in MMA. You've had the 3 fights in CFC. I watched all 3.
Yes,
Uh,
right.
no offense, but the third one was, I felt like it was the
Yeah,
most challenging, the one that you had. You finished your first 2 fights. Like, what did you learn? Now
yes,
you've gone to the third round two times, if I'm not
right.
mistaken, 2 times. And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
did you learn so far out of all those fights?
Right. So like you said, like the last fight I had was definitely again, it was one of those moments where like I just wait like by the time I got into the ring, I wasn't feeling the usual way I was supposed to feel. So I really had to battle through that as well because I felt a bit damp that day. So you would have even seen less movement and I don't know what it was. I mean, in the fight game, like there are those days, right? So one night, it's not every day you can train as hard as you want, but some days you might turn up there and like something's off. So it was one of those days. So it was very challenging for me to like in the first round, I think I did get him on the ground. And then round two, I think I tried get him on the ground and then he managed to scramble out of it. And then the rest of the fight, for some reason, I just convinced on like, I knew like my win was if I dragged him to the ground, but I was like content for some reason, like trying to strike with him and like, deal with him in that sense. Because Dulain was a really good boxer anyway. So going into the fight, I knew he was a Thomian captain. So I knew he's going to be a striker. So game plan was always to drag him to the ground, and I got that in the first round. I didn't finish him, but round two, round three, if you watch the fight, like I literally didn't even get him to the ground. I
Yeah.
tried like twice. That's about it. So I think that was a very challenging fight, like to mentally like go out to round three and still be like, oh shit, I need to finish this guy somehow. And
Mm.
then I couldn't get the opportunity, but I won the decision. But yeah,
Sameera, so your opponent Sameera, I saw his last fight.
yeah,
I know that you didn't see it. Now, what happened in that fight? It was a first round TKO. He got on mount real quick,
yes,
and
right,
so I feel like you have an advantage in the sense you have been to the third round, you have gone to the distance, and you have the experience. In terms of experience, you have the edge. But
right,
he's also a very explosive fighter, and his coaches have told me that
yeah,
his cardio is also really good. And his teammates.
right.
I at one point I was also in Glory, and I saw him go go at it with bunch of his sparring partners, and I can tell you that he is good. Like in terms
Oh,
of
right, right.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, just since we brought up Sameera again, okay. So when we first had that video, right? So when I got the call, like basically it was a message where okay, our opponent is Sameera Glory.
Yeah,
So I knew some of the guys from Glory, right? Like over the years we've hung out and like
yeah.
known some of them. So I've never really seen a Sameera from Glory. At least I didn't have him in the preview. So after you released that video, I realized that's LSP. Like I knew him as LSP, like even in Muay Thai, right?
That's true.
So
In
I was
Instagram.
like when I spoke to you, I had no, I didn't have a clear, like, because I think I went on Facebook and typed in name once, nothing really showed up. and I didn't really look after that. So I didn't really have a face in my head. But after a video came out, I was like, oh shit, that is LSP. So I've actually known him actually. So I've seen him fight as well in Muay Thai some time ago. So, but but I couldn't catch him in the last CFC. I don't think I was there. I couldn't make it for the last CFC. So, but I know he's gonna be and I know how Glory usually fights. Like they kind of have like a good strategy usually going into all the fights. We've seen that before in the past fights and their performances. So I know they're gonna come with the game plan for sure. Like especially like with coaches like that, they're gonna. So I know it's gonna be a challenge, but hopefully I'll step up and get
I know.
the
I'm not gonna ask you what your game plan is. Obviously, it's a stupid question, but like, is it and like how different is it from your previous game plans? And
right. Actually, to be honest, like game plan wise, of course, there are in each fight, like I said, like the previous person was a striker, Dulen was a like mainly a striker. So I knew like, okay, ground game is for sure it's gonna be where I'm gonna have some success in. But in this case, I know Sameera is being I know he has a striking background, so he's been doing Muay Thai and all those sort of striking tournaments, and then especially with Glory, I'm pretty sure I know he's gonna be good on the ground as well because they usually train. They have high level of jiu-jitsu as well. So I'm gonna expect like I guess like this is gonna be one of my most challenging fights as well because I think so far like from all three of the people that I faced, I think I always had some sort of an edge in jiu-jitsu. So in this fight, you never know because Glory people, especially when they get on top, I've seen like they have like really good top control and stuff like that. So I'm expecting like it to be like standing ground, everything is gonna be competitive. So yeah, definitely not taking it lightly at all. Yeah.
yeah, I can tell you're kind of sweating. Also, I can tell that the training camps must be really tough. Man, it's been wonderful catching up with you. I don't want to take much of your time. I know you're tired, but before I go, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions that just, this or that, you know what I mean? Just one answer questions. Ready?
Okay. Right. Let's do it.
Favorite UFC fighter?
Oh, favorite UFC fighter? Damn, man, come on. There's so many names coming into my head. Okay, I'm gonna go with Stylebender, man. Like, come on, that's
Stylebender. Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
Favorite submission?
Oh, favorite submission? Triangle. Yeah, I know I haven't pulled that off in MMA yet, but hopefully you will see one of those soon.
Okay. Favorite combination to throw?
Oh, definitely jab and kick, like jab with a right kick. Yeah, that's my usually you'll see that a lot. Like that's a combination that I throw a lot, but then I always like in different variations of strength, you would say. So sometimes it's just a touch here, sometimes it's with power. So yeah, yeah. I know it's a weird combination.
It is kind of weird. Okay, favorite grappler?
Favorite grappler? Oh wow. Man, I mean, you can't not mention Gordon Ryan because he's like the best grappler that's out there. But like, let's see, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with Gordon Ryan.
Good choice.
There's so many.
There's so many. Craig Jones, there's so many.
Yeah.
Favorite boxer?
Oof. Favorite boxer? Oh, that's actually easy for me. Vasily Lomachenko. Like, definitely the best for me. Yeah, in terms of movement, like I just can't see anyone doing anything better. It's just
Lomachenko, respect.
Yeah, I would also go with Floyd. I mean, Floyd is also great, but Lomachenko kind of has the aggressiveness with that the movement. So I think
yeah, that's true. Favorite Muay Thai fighter?
Muay Thai fighter. Okay. Oof. I think I'm just gonna go with the generic one, like Sunshine. But I mean, come on, he's one of the best.
I was just thinking about that.
He's also small, so I've like really looked at the way he handles. Like he usually fights larger people as well all the time, which is what I am usually having to deal with, especially at the gym. Not at the fights, because usually it's in the same weight class, but generally when you're sparring, it's always bigger guys. So like I've looked at some of the stuff that he does to like minimize them using the strength. So yeah, I'd go with him.
Okay. Khabib or GSP?
Ooh, GSP all the day. Like every day. GSP has been like, I think GSP is like the best martial artist, like the representation of a martial artist for me is GSP, like in terms of like how he carries himself and obviously his skills. So yeah, GSP. I mean, I like Khabib, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
You're going to offend a lot of people in Sri Lanka.
I know.
Okay. RNC or Amba?
Oh, RNC. Easy. I'm not a fan of Ambas, to be honest.
What?
I do throw them, but meaning like in terms of techniques, I'd rather go for an RLC. It's much nicer and smoother.
Smooth, and it's more
Less
definitive.
destructive as well to the opponent.
Muay Thai or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Ooh, now you're putting me in a. I mean, I'm just gonna go with MMA because you have both. But okay, if I had to pick, I'll pick Jiu-Jitsu. But I love Muay Thai. You have no idea how much I like Muay Thai as well. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Marcelo Garcia or John Danaher?
Oh, John Danaher.
John
I love the whole philosophical side of like Danaher. I listen to a lot of stuff he says, so that's pretty interesting.
And he's got the death squad.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and Gordon Ryan and everyone comes out of that team anyways.
Okay, last question. This is gonna be a tough one. Glory MMA or Teba?
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say Shed. Okay.
So no, I mean I know the answer to that. Obviously, you're from Shed.
Yeah. So Glory and Teva, I'm gonna pick Glory because just like okay, I know Rumesh from Teba, and I've seen him perform. Yeah. But like I've seen way more Glory guys like perform as well, and then I know some of them as well, and I've seen how good they are, like Charit, Dilshan, Sakuna, like the whole set. Like so, I'm gonna go with Glory on that.
You're gonna piss off Ramesh. Well, thank you, Sham, for joining. Talking with me. Taking your time. All the best for the fight on Saturday. I will be there.
Yeah, I'll see you.
I'll see you on Saturday.
Cheers, man.